So today we have to start the course that is electronic circuits, and the course code is 204181, and I am your teacher for this subject, Suman Kumar Chaudhary. So if you have to be see, first of all I want to ask all of you, because we are facing the pandemic corona. So I hope all of you are well and your family members are well.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Okay, now we have to start the first lecture, but before proceeding for the syllabus, we have to go through certain topics that is very essential to know. So first of all, we have to come to know our vision of our college. So what is the vision of our college? To create opportunities for the rural students to become able engineers and technocrats through the continuous excellence in engineering education. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
This is the vision of our college. So we are mainly focusing on the rural area students, but as well as the urban area as well. But we have to they would become a able engineers and technocrats with the continuous excellence in the engineering education. And second one is our mission. Our mission is to create self-disciplined, physically fit, mentally robust, and morally strong engineers and technocrats with high degree of integrity and sense of purpose, who are capable to meet challenges of ever advancing technology for the benefit of mankind and nature. We, the management, the faculty and the staff, therefore promise to strive hard to commit ourselves to achieve this objective through a continuous process of learning and appreciation of needs of time. So this is our mission. Okay. Now we have to proceed. So next one, what is the structure of this subject as per the university SCP. So if you have to go through the structure, I mentioned two points. First is theory, and second one is the practical. If you see the theory part, the name of the course is electronic circuits, and it is having the 3 credits. So the 3 lectures in a week, as well as now the pattern has been changed for the second year. Up to the last year, there is the online pattern is there. Now it is converted into the in-sem and end-sem. So if you have to see the distribution of marks for the in-sem and end-sem, for the in-sem there is 30 marks, for the end-sem there is 70 marks. So total 100 marks paper is there. For the in-sem, they have to we have to cover first 2 units. Both is having the 15 marks, and for the end-sem, next 4 units are there. Means unit number 3, 4, 5, and 6. Similarly, if you have to see for the electronic circuit lab, this is the practical part of this particular subject. So this is having also 1 credit, but 2 hours per week practical is planned, and it is having the 50 marks. Okay, and in this case there is external practical examination. Okay, means you have to prepare whatever the practicals we will learn in this semester. Maybe there is 12 practicals are there, and before the examination you have to prepare all the practical, theoretically as well as practically, and at the day of the examination you have to come and perform the practical on the hardware as well as the simulation in computer. So this is an external examination would come from different college, and he would or she would evaluate you. So this subject you have to take seriously a little bit, because external examination is there also. And this is the heart of the electronics engineering. Electronic circuit is the heart. because all the future subjects based on this communities, whatever you will be learn in the second sem of the second year or maybe third year, final year, or maybe when you got the job in the electronics industry, you have to be use the application of this subject. Now, come to the course objective. What are the objectives of this subject of course? So we have to be see in this there are the 6 objectives has will be defined. First is we have to be know understand the semiconductor device, MOSFET, its characteristics, parameters, and application. Second one is concept of feedback in amplifier and oscillator. Third, operational amplifier, concept, parameters, and application. Fourth one, analog to digital converter, digital to analog converter as an interface between analog and digital domain. Fifth, voltage to current and current to voltage converter. Sixth one is concept, characteristics, applications of phase lock loop, PLL. So these are the 6 objectives of this course. And after completion of this course, at the end of semester, what is expected from your side, what you would be able to do. So that is called as a course outcome. So you will be able to first course outcome is assimilate the physics, characteristics and parameters of MOSFET towards its application as an amplifier. So basically MOSFET can be used as a switch or amplifier, but you have to be correlate characteristics, parameters of MOSFET and how you could be used as an amplifier. You have to be learned. Second course outcome is design the MOSFET amplifier with and without the feedback and MOSFET oscillator for given specification. Third one is analyze and assess the performance of linear and switching regulators with their variants towards applications in the regulated power supply. Fourth outcome is explain internal schematic of op-amp and define the performance parameters. Fifth outcome is design, build and test op-amp based analog signal processing and conditioning circuits towards the various real-time applications. And last outcome is that you have to be achieved, understand, compare the principle of various data conversion techniques and PLL with their application. So how this outcome has been defined, if you have to be see in detail. So we have the 6 units and each outcome reflects the each unit. So first outcome represent the first unit, second is second, like this, all the 6 units having the 6 outcome. Okay. So for now we have to be see the syllabus. So what I will be not explain in detail, but you have to be just go with the overview of the syllabus. What are the topics actually in all 6 units? First unit representing the MOSFET and its analysis. That's why the first outcome is based on the parameter and characteristics of the MOSFET. Second is MOSFET circuit, and we have seen also on the outcome you have to be design the MOSFET amplifier or MOSFET with other circuit subjects. So first 2 unit is dedicated for the MOSFET. Third unit is related to the voltage regulator. That's why the third outcome is also the similar, representing the voltage regulator. Means you have to be learn about the fixed voltage regulator and variable voltage regulator also, or as well as the SMPS. Fourth unit is based on the op-amp, operational amplifier. So in the fourth unit we have to be learn the basics of the op-amp, block diagram of the internal structure of the op-amp and their characteristics and parameters. Fifth unit we have to be learn the application of that op-amp. how could be op-amp be used in the different applications like differentiator, integrator, and lots of the applications that we have to learn at the time of the fifth unit. Sixth unit is based on the converters and PLL. We have also seen in the outcome voltage to current, current to voltage converters, ADCs, and some other analog to digital, digital to analog, PLL. This topics would be covered in the system. So you have to see the division of the syllabus. It would be cover two very important elements of the electronics, two important device of the electronics, that are MOSFET and operational amplifier. The first 2 units dedicated for the MOSFET, and last 3 units are dedicated for the op-amp. And the third unit is in between of that, that is related to the voltage regulator. As you have already, I know that in the first year you have gone through the basic knowledge of the transistors. In that you have learned BJT, MOSFET, and little bit about the op-amp as well. So we have to just go and explore this topic in detail and their applications as well. So this is the first unit. You have to see MOSFET and its analysis. But before proceeding for the actual topic, you have to know which books you have to refer. That are the reference books. So the first one is Electronic Circuit Analysis and Design. It is written by the Donald Neiman, and it is the publication is McGraw-Hill. I have mentioned in the syllabus there is mentioned 3rd edition. We can follow this, or maybe 2nd edition is also good. Okay. So whatever the availability of you can use, and you have to see the most of the topics in this particular first unit. I would be teach from this particular book. Second reference book is Integrated Electronics. Again, it is from the McGraw-Hill publication, and the writer is Millman Helker. So both the books are very good. You can learn lots of the new things, and you will understand what is the actual electronics from this book. Now, proceed for the further. What are the subtopics under the unit number 1? That is MOSFET and its analysis. So just take the overview of that. You have to learn about the enhancement type MOSFET. You have to learn about the construction characteristics of that enhancement type MOSFET, DC load line, AC equivalent circuit, parameters, parasitic. And second important topic is non-ideal characteristics of the MOSFET, where we have to cover lots of the non-ideal characteristics like finite output resistance, body effect, subthreshold conduction, breakdown effect, temperature effect, effect of W/L ratio, and some design based on this MOSFET like common source amplifier and its analysis, DC analysis as well as the AC analysis. Other circuits are source follower, its circuit diagram and its analysis. And after that we have to compare both the circuits. And final topic is frequency response of this amplifier. So these are the topics, subtopics we have to going to cover for within the first unit. I think all of you clear now the idea how we have to proceed further for the topic. Now we have to start the first unit, but before entering to the topic enhancement MOSFET, we will see little bit introduction with background of this particular topic. So how we have to start? We have to start with the classification of the transistor. Now you are in the second year, you have to be familiar with this classification of transistors. So that's the diagram also shown in the slide. Transistor could be divided into the 2 parts. One is the bipolar junction transistor, another is the field effect transistor. And bipolar junction transistor, where it is further divided as NPN and PNP transistor. And if you have to be further subdivided FET, that is JFET and MOSFET. So in the first you have learned both of the transistor, basic knowledge of that. But in this semester we have to be cover FX, FET, and especially the MOSFET, metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor. Now we have to be little bit compare what is the difference between both of them and why we are preferring the FET now. Earlier days BJT was preferred, but now it is obsolete in the market. So we have now preferring the FET. So before going to the comparison, we have to see what are the application of the transistor. What is the purpose of learning this topic? We have to be see the application of the transistor. It is using in the electronic switches or regulators. It would be used in the mobile phones, televisions, radio, automobiles, automation in any branch of engineering, computers like PCs, laptops, tablets, then CD and DVD players, set-top box. So you can see that lots of the application nowadays, whatever the gadgets we are using, in all gadgets, these are the role of the transistors or role of electronic gadgets that is having the transistor. And the last application is never ending. Means there is a endless applications of transistor in the modern era. Okay, so that's why we have to be understand the basic fundamentals of the transistor, because you would be become an electronics engineer in future. You have to be know from where the electronics starts and what are the basic knowledge you have to be gained, so that you would be apply this knowledge in your working area. Now come to the next topic, that is a comparison of both of the transistors. What are the differences between the BJT and FETs? Okay, so we have to be see some. I have made some table for this. Understand these differences. So you have to be see here. You have to be, first we have to be see the what are the characteristic parameters, and then how it is differing the BJT and FET. The first parameter I have taken is charge carrier. So in the BJT we know that there is a both kind of charge carriers are used, minorities as well as the majority. But in the field effect transistor, only majority, that is unipolar. It is a unipolar transistor. Means we have to use only one kind of the charge carrier. Okay. So charge carriers means what? Can anyone tell me what you mean by the charge carrier? Anyone? What do you mean by the charge carrier? Anyone can answer? What do you actually understand charge carriers mean?
Carries an
What types of
electric
charge
charge,
carriers? Yeah?
which carries an electric charge.
Electric charge. Okay. Types of charge carriers. I am written
Holes and
minority and
electron.
majority. Means what? Basically, we use the two types of charge carriers. One is negatively charged, that is electron, and another is positively charged, that is holes. In the semiconductor physics, we have learned this. Okay. So in the BJT, both types of electrons and holes are present for their operation. But in the FET, at a time, only one charge carrier play a role, and that is called the majority charge. Either it is electron, either it is hole. Depend upon the type of the FET. We have to be come on that particular topic, types of FET and which charge carrier is responsible for which FET. Second point is thermal runaway. In the BJT, there is a problem of thermal runaway is present, and it is because of the minority charge carriers with negative temperature. This is the main reason why the thermal runaway kind of the problems or situation would be occur in the BJT. And this, because of this issue, your BJT could be damaged. Okay. But in the case of FET, there is no concept or there is no any kind of problem like thermal runaway. It is absent because there is no minority charge carriers in the FET. Third point is power consumption. In the BJT, more power would be consumed due to the minority charge carriers, and in the FET it is less. In the fourth characteristic is packaging density. In the MOSFET, packaging density is low, and in the FET, packaging density is high. So what it actually means? Can anyone define the density? What is can anyone define what is the mean by the packaging density here? I'm saying that BJT having the less packaging density and FET having the higher most packaging density. Hisba Sheikh. Tell what do you want to share? Hisba Sheikh. There is someone who has been mentioned that there is a problem of sound. The audio is not clear. So we are talking about the packaging density. Means it is related to the size of the transistor. BJT having the more larger than the as compared to FET. That's why it would be cover more area within a chip or within a particular chip is there. So there less number of BJT would be occupy that particular area of the chip. So we can implement less number of BJTs. But in comparison to that, FET is having the less size. So it would be more number of FET could be implemented within the same size of the chip. That's why it is having the higher package density. So what is the benefit of that? This we would be learn further. Next point is input impedance. So input impedance of BJT is low due to the forward bias, and it is high due to the reverse bias in JFET and isolation layer in the MOSFET. Now the next point is for the difference, sixth one, linearity. So in the case of BJT, it is linear, but FET is a non-linear. So you can understand this linearity nonlinearity from their current equation. Like in the BJT, there is collector current is equal to beta IV. It is linear relationship. But in the case of FET, there is a square law. It would be followed. ID is equal to Kn VGS minus VTH whole square. That is a non-linear relationship. We have to be learn further in detail when we have to learn the characteristics. Then the seventh parameter is the controlling parameter. In the case of BJT, controlling parameter is current. But in the case of FET, it is a voltage. Okay. So BJT is a current driven device and FET is a voltage. Eighth point is speed of operation. So in the case of BJT, the speed is slow, but in the case of FET, it is fast. Fast switching is there. Then the next point is noise. BJT would be produce higher noise, and FET would be produce lower noise as compared to BJT. And the last one is frequency response. So BJT would be having the narrow bandwidth, in the range of the kilohertz, but FET having the broad bandwidth that is in the range of megahertz. So frequency response is more better in the case of FET as compared to BJT. So these are the some points that I have taken as a difference between the BJT and FET. More than that, there is possibility differences, but these are the major point that I want to discuss with you. Now come to the our topic, that is the FET. So the classification of FETs are what? So you have to be see FET means field effect transistor. So broadly it would be classified as two sections. One is JFET, junction field effect transistor. Second one is a metal oxide semiconductor field effect, MOSFET. If we go to the further subdivision of JFET, there is a only depletion mode on which JFET works, and it would be having the two types of JFET as are N channel and P channel. But in the case of MOSFET, it works on two modes, depletion mode as well as the enhancement mode. And in both the modes, there is an N channel also and P channel also. Okay. Now come to our topic, MOSFET. In this particular semester or in this particular course, we have to be focused on the MOSFET. Okay. So before going to understand the operation of the MOSFET or construction of the MOSFET, we have to be see little bit background of this, how the MOSFET has been made. So MOSFET is a structure that is made up from very important structure that is called the MOS transistor. MOS means what? Metal oxide semiconductor. There is a 3-layer device is there. So if you have to be seen the slide also, there is a one of the picture is shown. There is a 3 layers of the one device that is made of the 3 layers. In the bottommost layer there is a semiconductor substrate over which we have deposited the oxide layer that is called the silicon dioxide, SiO2, and at the topmost there is a metal. So this is a 3-layer device is there. Okay. So the heart of the MOSFET is nothing but a metal oxide semiconductor capacitor. It is just like a capacitive effect, because metal and semiconductor would be play a parallel metallic plates, and in between there is a dielectric, that is a SiO2 insulator. So if you have to be further see the explanation of this, what is the, if you have to see the topmost layer, that is a metal. So metal may be aluminum. So here the topmost layer is a metal is there, and generally we use aluminum as a metal, or some other types of metals are also used. And nowadays in the most of the cases, metal is replaced by a high conductive polycrystalline silicon layer. Okay, but as the name is MOSFET, so still we are using polycrystalline silicon. We use the term as a metal because M stands for the metal is there. And nowadays again as per the technology changing, we are again industry are again start to use the metals instead of polycrystalline silicon. And in the diagram, if you have to be see, there is a 2 parameters I have shown, that is TOX and epsilon naught OX. So what is the TOX is here? TOX is depth of this particular oxide layer, and E naught X is permittivity of the oxide. Okay. Now we have to be understand what is the physics behind this particular MOS structure. Okay, from your side, anyone take the screenshot of the attendance? What are the physics of the MOS structure, you have to be see, I have shown in a diagram, there is a two parallel plates are there, and this parallel plate is nothing metallic plates, and it is a structure of a capacitor, and we have applied one voltage source around this particular parallel plate capacitor, and the positive terminal of this particular voltage source is connected to the bottom plate, and negative terminal is connected to the top of the plate, and the distance between these two plates are indicating by the small d, and in between there is some gap, two metals, there is some gap, that is a dielectric materials are there. It could be air, it could be any other dielectric materials or insulator could be used, and that is having the permittivity of the epsilon. And when you apply this voltage, so there is electric field would be generated. We have to be see in detail. And insulator materials that is having the permittivity of epsilon is there. Separate these two metallic plates. With this bias, a negative charge exists on the top plate because negative side of the battery is connected to the top side of the plate, and positive charge would be deposited on the bottom of the plate. And because of this potential difference, one electric field is generated. As per the rule of physics, it is directed from the positive side to the negative side. Okay. Now, if you have to be see further expansion of this particular capacitor, we have to be in the bottom plate has been be replaced by a semiconductor, that is a p type of semiconductor, and the top plate has been be replaced by a metallic plate, that is aluminium, and in between there is a dielectric, that could be air at that time, but now we are using a silicon dioxide. So here the top plate is called as a gate, and that is negatively charged because the negative side of the voltage battery is connected to that, and the bottom plate is a p-type semiconductor, and positive side of the power supply is connected to this semiconductor. So it is very much similar to the parallel plate capacitor. Okay, and the direction of electric field has been shown in a diagram, that is from positive to negative. Okay, now time is very less, so we will be continue this topic in the next lecture. Okay, and thank you all of you to be listening this patience. Okay, anyone take the attendance please?